Welcome. Montana Forge Virtual Studio presents
How to install a deadbolt passage combo. Installing a deadbolt passage combo is very similar to installing an individual single-cylinder deadbolt and a passage function lever or knob set, only together. We've chosen some highlights from our other installation videos to help guide you through the process. If you would like to check out those more in-depth individual videos, you can find the link in the description below, or head to the resources page at www.montanaforge.com. You will be needing a Phillips head screwdriver as well as a cordless drill with a 5/32 inch drill bit for this installation. Before beginning your install, remove your old hardware and clean the door to prep it for installation. All of our hardware is designed for 1 3/4 inch to 2 inch doors. If you have a door that is larger than 2 inches, simply request a thick door kit when ordering. The distance from the center of the top hole to the center of the bottom hole needs to be 5.5 inches. Otherwise, a full plate interior escutcheon won't fit. If you do not have 5.5 inches between the center of the top hole and the center of the bottom hole, you will have to order a passage and a deadbolt lock set separately. One thing to note here is that most doors will have 2 holes already, one for the operation of your deadbolt hardware as well as one for your passage function hardware. There will be a template included on the instruction sheet within the box. On the template, there are 2 options that are dependent on your back set. The back set is the distance from the edge of the door to the center of the latch hole. The standard size is 2 3/8 inch, but some doors are prepped at 2 3/4 inch. Once you know which back set you have, then you can determine which side of the template you're going to use. Once you are sure which template you are using, go ahead and cut out the appropriate holes from the template. Then cut along the vertical dotted line. Place the template on the door, aligning the edge of the template with the edge of your door, while also lining up with your existing deadbolt and latch holes. Now that your door is prepped, let's take a moment to go over the components in their exploded view. Carefully unwrap each piece and familiarize yourself with these components. You can set aside the 2 strike plates along with 4 of the provided wood screws, as we will come back to these later in the video. You can also set aside the deadbolt strike reinforcement plate and the longer wood screws as well. The 5/32 inch drill bit will be used to drill the pilot holes for this plate later in the video. Note that the provided finish-specific wood screws will always match the finish that was chosen for your interior trim. The first components are the cylinder with the tailpiece and the exterior deadbolt rosette. The next component is the deadbolt latch and 2 wood screws that are finish specific and will always match the finish of your interior trim. The next components are the 1-piece mounting plate and 2 longer gold-colored screws, as well as a lower chassis component and 2 silver-colored screws with a small patch of blue Loctite. The next components are the 1-piece escutcheon trim, 2 threaded collar washers, a turn piece, and a lever or knob. The next component is the passage latch. Notice the flattened edge here, as it will be important to recognize in the steps ahead. The finish-specific wood screws that always match the finish of your interior trim will be used to secure the latch. The next component is the spindle. Make sure to locate the ball catch mechanism, as this will also be important in the steps ahead. The next component is the exterior chassis and the exterior rosette that will cover it. The final components are the set screws, which come pre-installed for the deadbolt turn piece and the levers or knobs, along with the provided Allen wrenches and collar tightening tools. Let's get started. Locate the deadbolt latch and 2 of the shorter wood screws that match the color of the lock. Note that the latch is adjustable. Start by holding the body of the latch and twisting the latch plate. Remember, the deadbolt latch should always be installed with the cam positioned on the bottom. Once you have the appropriate latch position chosen for a 2 3/8 inch back set or a 2 3/4 inch back set, insert the deadbolt latch into the top latch hole on your door. Secure using the provided wood screws. Next, secure the passage latch into the edge of the door and make sure the flat side of the latch bolt is facing the interior side of the door for in-swing doors and the exterior side of the door for out-swing doors. Then, secure the latch using 2 of the wood screws provided. Now, install the spindle into the latch by pushing in the ball catch mechanism. Slide the spindle all the way through the latch until the ball catch pops back out on the other side. This ensures that the spindle is centered perfectly in the latch. Then, take the chassis out of the bag and before installing, remember that the single hole on the sides of each of the 2 chassis parts should be positioned closest to the edge of the door on both sides. Slide the exterior chassis over the lower spindle. Now locate the deadbolt cylinder, the exterior rosette, and the one-piece mounting plate. Make sure the tailpiece or spindle of the cylinder is in a horizontal position and slide it through the center of the deadbolt latch. Now move to the inside of the door and align the mounting plate over the 2 spindles and push flush against the door. Use the 2 longer gold-colored hardware screws to attach the deadbolt portion of the mounting plate, and then the 2 shorter silver-colored with Loctite hardware screws to attach the mounting plate at the bottom latch. You can just hand tighten these at first to make sure everything lines up. Once you have all 4 screws in the mounting plate, go ahead and tighten them down with your screwdriver. Tighten the assembly screws to be snug, but do not over-tighten. At this point, you should also test the lock operation with your keys to make sure everything is working smoothly thus far. Now, if you haven't already, unwrap the exterior passage rosette, one of the levers or knobs, one of the larger threaded collar washers, and the larger collar tightening tool. Take the passage rosette and slide it over the chassis on the exterior side of the door. Slide one of the larger threaded collars over the post or spindle and tighten with the collar tightening tool. Tighten as much as possible, you can't over-tighten. Next, locate the interior mounting plate and the remaining threaded collar washers. Then, slide the interior trim plate over the mounting plate and secure with the threaded collars. The smaller one is for the deadbolt and the larger one is for the lever or knob. Start the threaded collars by hand and then locate the 2 collar tightening tools that came with your lock set. You want to use the tools to tighten these collars as much as possible. You can't over-tighten. Then, check to make sure there is no movement in the lock set at all. Next, locate your interior knob or lever and deadbolt turn piece. Slide the knob or lever over the lower spindle with the set screw facing downward. Then, slide the deadbolt thumb turn over the upper spindle in a vertical orientation. Before tightening down, test both the turn piece and the lever or knob to make sure they work smoothly. Using the provided Allen wrenches, tighten down both set screws on the knob and thumb turn. A quick tip for the deadbolt thumb turn when it's in its place, but not tight, extend the deadbolt latch so that the set screw is in an easier to reach position for tightening. Now slide the exterior lever or knob on the post or spindle, making sure the side with the set screw is positioned downward. Then tighten the set screw with the provided Allen wrench. If you have any trouble getting the knobs, levers, or turn pieces to go on the post or spindles, you may need to loosen the set screw and then it should go on. It's meant to be a tight fit, so a little more than normal effort is required. Now, test the function of the lock set, turn piece, and the lever or knob to make sure they operate smoothly. Close the door to make sure that both latch bolts are going into their strike holes properly. You want to make sure that you can't open the door without pressing in the thumb latch or turning your lever or knob to do so. Now you can install the reinforcement plate for the deadbolt strike. To prevent any splitting or cracking that may occur, it is recommended and good practice to drill pilot holes prior to screw installation. You can use your reinforcement plate as a guide, drilling a hole in the top corner and another one diagonal to that on the bottom. Then install your longer wood screws and tighten to be snug, but try not to over tighten. Now you can install the strike plates. Make sure to mount the strike plates in line with the holes on your door jamb, where the latches are going to meet them. Then install the wood screws colored to match the strikes and tighten until snug, but try not to over tighten. If you close the door and your latches don't align with the strikes, some additional strike adjustment may be needed. Congratulations on successfully installing your Montana Forge Deadbolt Passage combo. We suggest that you keep the set of keys, the Allen wrenches, the threaded collar tightening tools, and any extra screws provided, as these will be required in case you ever need to take the lock off the door. Thank you for watching this presentation by the Montana Forge Virtual Studio. We hope this video was helpful and we appreciate your business. For other videos in this series, be sure to visit montanaforgehardware.com.